What's up, everybody? Gonna do a little chat check here. Just literally getting in from work, so we'll have to see how this deal goes. Ross Chastain stock price up and down like a yo-yo, says Gloctopus. So yeah, that's probably a good place to start. Uh, a lot of people not happy with Ross Chastain. Once again, it's not like he was intentionally trying to do it, right? It was a racing move. He was irritated he couldn't get past the three. He inexplicably thinks the 15, I guess, is going to go faster, or was trying to go three wide. Whatever he was trying to do, he was trying to pass both cars at once, is my opinion. And then in the process of trying to go past both of the cars at once, it didn't work out for him. He spins 15, takes out my man Larson. So I was like, come on, dude. So he gets them all riled up. Then he goes out there and proceeds to lead most of the race, which would have been really funny if he got the chance to win. But yeah, a lot of people, as always, after the race are hot about Ross Chastain. I mean, you're either going to be mad about it or you're going to be laughing about it. It just depends on where you stand in the Ross Chastain camp, where you stand in the Ross Chastain argument. But yeah, be interested to know what you guys think. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to put up a poll, start a poll. Mad at Ross today, because it's going to be today, because next week it'll be something different, just like you were saying there. It is week to week and day to day as to how that particular deal goes. He drove like tailgaters think on the highway, says Gloctopus. Yeah, he gave him no room. There was no way that was ever going to work, especially that early in the race. So that's also he's 100% in the wrong. I'd like to get there on that one. In this particular case, he's 100% in the wrong. But once again, it wasn't anything he was necessarily doing on purpose. He was making a racing move. And even as Kyle Larson said in the post-race interview, he's like, he does these crazy things and it seems to never negatively affect him. I think that's where a lot of it comes from too, is the fact that he does this stuff and it only negatively affects the other people. The other people he's never negatively affected by his actions. And it seems like people, when they pay him back, it never is paid back. It's never 50-50. Karma hasn't got him yet, or whatever, however you want to look at it. So I think that plays into it a lot too. But there is definitely a lot of people. Danielle K. Trotta is super mad. She's on the Ross hate bandwagon. She's been on the Ross hate bandwagon for a little bit now. So I thought it was super interesting because she's supposed to be unbiased media, and she's been ripping on Ross for a while here. So it's pretty interesting. But we'll see. Stephen Emilio Jr. says, all it'll take is someone to put him firewall deep, then he'll learn his freaking lesson, says Steven. I don't know about that, because he's been doing this for a long time. This is his style of driving. He's super aggressive, and he knows he's got him coming, so I don't know. He's pretty hard-headed, pretty stout in what he's doing there. The other side of it is all these drivers talk a big game, but then they never actually do anything. That's another aspect of it that could be addressed as well. Kyle Larson essentially immediately got him back. Every time he had to pass Kyle Larson did hold him up. So in my opinion, Kyle Larson held his ground, stood his ground, or whatever you want to call it. So he did hold him up. He cost him several positions every time he had to pass Kyle Larson, and effectively, in some respects, cost him his best chance of winning the race by holding him up at various points in the race. So I think Kyle Larson sort of got his revenge, and I don't see Kyle Larson going forward as a guy who's going to pay it back, because I feel like Kyle Larson is more interested in winning races and a championship. So in my opinion, my guess would be Kyle Larson is probably done with it, but I don't know about everybody else, because Kyle Larson wasn't the only driver that was holding him up. We saw the 54, I think at one point, hold him up for Martin Truex. That might have been some Toyota team communication, or it might have been something that Ross Chastain did to Ty Gibbs. I don't know. Ty Gibbs had a good run too, by the way. If it wasn't for him saving gas, I think he would have had a top five. Matt Hunter says, Dover at its best, worth the wait. What a day for Truex family. Final win vibes to get it. Had final win vibes to it. Oh, okay, I got you. Final win of his career vibes to it. I got you, says Matt Hunter. Yeah, even if it's not his final win, it's going to be one of the coolest days in that family's racing career, because how often is the brother going to win on Saturday and the other brother is going to win on Sunday? So super cool. The Truex family sweeps the weekend. Big win for Ryan Truex. Glad he finally got the albatross from around his neck and won that race because he's definitely been super close. It felt like a lifetime achievement award because he's been super close to winning those races before and hadn't got it done. So cool day for the Truex family, no doubt about it. And like you said, we had to wait for Dover, but when Dover finally showed up, it was really awesome that we got to see Dover. Larson went easy on him. Don't stick up for him. Call it how it is. Everyone has a damn brake pedal, says Mountain Grizzly. Yeah, I said 100% that it's 100% Ross Chastain's fault. My only point is, it's not like he's intentionally wrecking people like some people make it out to be. Some people take it too far. He was trying to make a racing move, a dumb racing move, but he was trying to make a racing move. So, like I said, I don't have a problem with Ross Chastain. I've been an Earnhardt fan my entire life. Dale Sr. drove very similar to that when he was young. I'm not saying that they're the same level of ability wise, but they had the same style of racing is what I'm getting at. So it's nothing new to me. If you hate Ross, I get where you're coming from. A lot of people hated Dale Sr. A lot of people forget that Dale Sr. got booed a lot too. So Ross is always going to be that guy that's sort of 50-50. You either like his style or you don't, but he was definitely in the wrong today. I'm not sticking up for him. He was in the wrong. He even said so afterwards. So there you go. Philip Canavan, Ross never has to pay rent. Yeah, he definitely lives rent free in drivers' heads. That's 100% accurate. Ross is our next Dale Earnhardt Sr. And as far as you're talking about Mountain Grizzly Larson taking it easy on him, I mean, that is the easiest way to pay him back. He could have been a lot more aggressive with it. I do agree with you there. He could have hooked him if he wanted to. Ross never has to pay rent. I read that one. Ross is our next Dale Earnhardt Sr., says Art NASCAR. They definitely have a similar style. I don't know if he's ever going to be a 7-time champion. I don't know if he's ever going to have like 70-something wins like Earnhardt. But they definitely both have a very similar style. Whether or not he learns when to dial it back, like maybe stage one is not the time to pull that move. 100% stage one's not the time to pull that move. If it's like the last stage and you're trying to go, I understand that move a little bit better. But stage one, So I think if he learns how to time his aggressiveness, but we've been having this conversation about Ross for a long time. But like I said, it is what it is. People make mistakes. Literally, the only reason this is a big deal is because it's Ross Chastain. We've seen other drivers do dumb stuff before. So I mean, it is. If Chase Briscoe had done this, who also has a similar style to Ross Chastain, are we talking about it? Probably not. But for whatever reason, we're honed in on Ross Chastain, I guess because he made the Final Four last year. When there's other drivers, like in my opinion, Chase Briscoe, that drive the exact same way. So it is what it is. They're going to be mad about this one, boys. Ryan Upchurch, Quiet Cat, with that one. Larson will pay it back, but he's classy about it. Just wait, says Mountain Grizzly. Yeah, so I mean, he could pay it back later. You just never know. I feel like Larson, the only reason he doesn't pay stuff back is the same reason Jimmy Johnson didn't pay stuff back. He knows he's got a chance at winning a championship every season, and to get tangled up into stuff like that, it's not going to help your chances. It might not necessarily hurt them, but it's not going to help your chances of winning a championship. Glocktopus says the Chastain-Earnhardt comparisons aren't fair because Earnhardt timed his. There was an ebb and flow to his aggression. Ross Chastain is always 100% aggressive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Earnhardt learned in his career that, there was a time and place. Ross Chastain hasn't learned that time and place. He's just balls to the wall, always going for it. If he can learn how to sort of temper that, and Kevin Harvick's even said that multiple times about Chastain, because Kevin Harvick, when he first came into the sport, was about the same way. But Harvick definitely learned how to temper his. If Ross Chastain can learn how to temper his, he could have a similar career to a Kevin Harvick, where he just has all these wins and he's just consistently good for a long time. I could see Chastain doing that, but he hasn't learned how to sort of pick his spots, I guess would be the best way to say it. Dale won races, says Duke Chronic. I mean, Chastain won races too, not as many as Dale, but I mean, not many people have won as many races as Dale. And I think, and to be fair, part of the reason that Ross Chastain didn't have as good a chance to win this race is because of how he drove. Because like I said, not only did Kyle Larson hold him up, there were other drivers that held him up just because of how he's driven them in the past as too. So not for nothing, his style hurts him as much as it helps him. You might not immediately see it on the track because he's not in the wall or in the fence, but people holding him up definitely cost him positions, and if in this particular situation cost him the race win. I think Brendan Poole could have won today too. Damn it, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, but at the end of the day, on Earth 2, OJ and Toothpaste, Ty Dillon undefeated as always. Another win on Earth 2 for Ty Dillon. Of course, Earth 1, Ty Dillon has finished last. Just for those who aren't familiar with the Earth 2 deal we do here. Cornfed covers. Ross is giving people what NASCAR to give. Yeah, I mean, he's got everybody tuning in, right? Everybody wants to know what Ross Chastain is going to do this week. NASCAR has skewed toward drama, and Ross Chastain is that drama right now. So what's it? He gets the crowd moving. That's what they want to see, or whatever that thing, the stupid line from I don't know, the stupid Will Ferrell movie, whatever that line. Whatever. Duke Chronic says, actual dirty driving. Oops, sorry, but I got the lead now, says Duke Chronic. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's his style. He's going to be super aggressive with it. People either like it or they hate it. It seems like today people hate it, but it just depends on week to week. Like when he did the move at Martinsville, everybody loved it. So it's really weird. Like people love him one day, they hate him the next day. It's there's also no consistency with the fans. Like it just depends, I guess, if he takes your guy out. Which he took my guy out today, but I don't know. It's just it's part of the package with Ross Chastain. You either like him or you don't. He doesn't bother me. Like I'm used to drivers who drive like that. I think drivers that drive like that make the sport more entertaining. You're going to be upset when he takes your guy out, but if you don't have a guy, I feel like you should like Ross Chastain. So because he's going to make it interesting no matter what. If he's racing for 27th, because we saw that back in the day when he was in poor equipment, he raced the same way. Or if he's racing for first, he's going to race the same way. So he makes it interesting. But I do think eventually he'll figure it out and he'll start picking his spots. If not, he's going to be relegated to a guy that only wins a handful of races because people are just going to give him such a hard time going forward. If you guys didn't have Ross to talk about, there wouldn't be anything to talk about at all. All says Art NASCAR. So, hey, there you go. That's another thing. I mean, Martin Truex won the race, but we are talking about Ross Chastain. You cannot be recent at highway speeds, says Miguel Loza. Cry about it, Duke says quiet cat. Let's not snipe at each other. Let's chill on that. Trainwreck Stain is the new slogan. I keep seeing on 20 other channels, and it fits. Okay, I'll shut up. No, you're good, Grizzly. It's all good. Let it out, man. That's what these things are all about. Everybody's opinion is welcome. You do not have to agree with my opinion. That's the great thing about this deal. Like I said, these things are sort of like water cooler talks. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not always right. So, and thank God, because who would want to be perfect? Roush number one, you babies, drivers have been doing this forever, and they do it either help someone speed up or bump them or move them out of the way. I mean, yeah, that's fair too. You're as funny as a case of him. Let's not snipe at each other. That's not cool. Sonny V, I think Larson is just sick of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. May have had a point of over aggressiveness early in the race, says Sonny V. So yeah, I think that's part of it too. Larson is he's tired of having. He said in his interview he's tired of having the best car and never getting the results to show for it. So I think that's part of it. But to be fair, and I'm saying this as a Larson fan, Kyle Larson has chopped off a lot of people too. So it's not like he is blameless. He has chopped off a lot of people too this season, especially. He's been hyper aggressive himself, and I think part of that is this new car. Part of it is you have to win to get into the championship. So there's all kinds of things that factor into it. But a lot of drivers are driving very aggressively. But it's like when Ross Chastain does it, now it's a big deal, right? Because the media built up this big thing that Ross Chastain drives rough every race, which he does. But guess what? So does Chase Briscoe. You can go through the field. Ryan Preece this season, for whatever reason, has driven pretty rough. If you actually got to see where Ryan Preece is at, ever since he made his speech about driving with respect, he has ramped up his level of aggressiveness, which is fine. Like I said, I like when drivers drive aggressively, but you've seen a lot of other drivers sort of start driving like Ross Chastain, but Ross Chastain is the only one that really gets called out for it. And there's a reason for that. From a media perspective, you're telling a story, and to tell a story, you have to have a good guy, a bad guy, and a conflict. So Ross Chastain is always going to be the bad guy. The conflict is always going to be the contact that he makes, and the good guy is going to be whoever Ross Chastain made contact with, whether it be Denny Hamlin, who's probably in his career wrecked more people than Ross Chastain, or whoever. Best car of the day got took out in stage one, but glad for Truex, deserves a win. More, he's a good guy, says Kevin S. Yeah, so that's a fair point. Kyle Larson definitely had a car. It looked like early on, I mean, who knows? But it looked like early on he was going to be one of those cars that were in the mix for it. So it definitely has to be like a double blow. They are racing in a speedway, not in a highway, says Miguel. Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. What's up, BB? Truex was due one. Too bad it was at the expense of Larson's race. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Like, long enough, that's racing, right? The guy with the fastest car doesn't always win. You got to stay out of trouble, and various factors like that. Kyle Busch had a pretty good car too. Not a lot of people are talking about that. Kyle Busch involved in a wreck, had a really good car. I think he still recovered to finish, top 15 or something like that, even with a banged up race car. So I think it is fair to say Kyle Busch had a good car too. He cost himself speeding on pit road once again. And so he was back there when that big wreck broke out between who was it? Did the 42 just lose it? I think it was the 42 that lost it there and collected that group back there. Harrison Burton continuing to hurt his stock with him nearly causing a caution on the final stop pit sequence with his spin on pit road. Says Matt Hunter. Yeah, that really stunk because up until that point, Harrison Burton had a really good race, and I was finally like, good. I finally get to say something good about Harrison Burton. And it didn't play out that way. He spun on pit road again. There is zero respect between the drivers, and some of the stuff is scary. Like last week, how they fix it to protect drivers, says Duke Chronic. I mean, yeah, I agree. They're just ramping up the intensity race after race, and eventually somebody's not going to be okay, right? Like at the end of the day, somebody's not going to be okay. Somebody's going to get hurt or worse. So it's a fine line, but NASCAR seems to want to walk this one. Claude Aviles says, can we just have a trio of drivers who take out other drivers, Ross, Chastain, Bubba Wallace, and Denny Hamlin? I mean, yeah, so there you go. Whenever a driver wrecks somebody else, it's always it's just interesting to see which ones the media sort of picks to be the good guy and the bad guy. Like Chase Briscoe, he's a good guy, right? Ross Chastain, he's a bad guy. So it's always interesting how they pick them like that because they both have the same style, in my opinion. I love Larson's post-race response. We are the fastest every race, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I love his confidence there, and I understand his frustration. He's tired of getting taken out of these races when he feels like he's got the fastest car. So you love the passion there, and I'm glad he said that. And I also think the other thing I liked about that interview, he was a professional about it. He didn't admit nothing. He didn't admit anything. He's not going to get fined. He didn't say, yeah, I held up Ross Chastain on purpose. So that was a veteran move. One wise guy said when Ross said he needed to apologize, he didn't mention anything about Larson. Yeah, I mean, I think he was given a general apology because maybe he ran into more than one person out there, one wise guy. So that would be my guess on that one. Ross Chastain is a reckless driver. He's a new enemy of my driver, Kyle Larson. He's a reckless driver, and I think Ross Chastain needs to be suspended for 2.5 weeks. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll have to see. At some point, like they got Kevin Harvick eventually, right? So at some point, if NASCAR deems him to be too aggressive, they'll throw the hammer at him or drop the hammer on him or whatever. Throw the hammer at him. Throw the hammer at him. Drop the hammer on him if they feel like he's done too much. Race was good for Happy for the Truex family, but Penske better win soon. Last 3 finishes for them are third, second, and second. Also, what's up? What's up, Penske fan? Good to see you on here. Yeah, so Ryan Blaney once again figures out how to finish second. Doesn't get the win, so that stinks for him. You just knew that Fox was flattered beyond belief at Chastain's crew dressed up as the camera crew, says Matt Hunter. And yeah, and it looked like they were doing better with the camera work as well. So the good, the bad, and the ugly, says Art NASCAR. So yeah, it was definitely one of these races. A lot of good in it, a lot of ugly in it. Okay, I'll look at it from Chastain's side. I think the man needs his eyes checked. Maybe his vision is slightly off. Respectfully, the evidence is stacking up, says Grizzly Mountain. It's funny that you brought that up because Kyle Busch said maybe he needs glasses because Kyle Busch just recently got glasses or contacts or whatever. He said it helped my driving 100%. So Kyle Busch has actually said something about his eyesight as well. Claude Avila is, I'm no Joe Logano fan, but he had a bad day. Yeah, he had a crap day. I'm pretty sure he's just happy that race was over, and I'm pretty sure he really hated to bring out that last caution. I think it would have been a super interesting race if that last caution hadn't come out either, because it would have been Truex versus Chastain, and we would have seen if Chastain could have ran him down, because Chastain seemed to have a long run car. I knew I knew at the end of it that he wouldn't, sort of run him down. Sorry, I just got a text message right there because he had a long run car for that short run. Hey, caught this live on accident, West Coast. Still have to watch the race, says E. Damon. In that case, there's going to be spoilers. That's all I can tell you. The media has nothing to do with the hate for Chastain, says Rusty Kennedy. I mean, maybe, but I feel like they do because there's other drivers that do the same thing, but they don't really get called out by the media like Chastain. I wouldn't back away from the media's part in this, to be totally honest with you. Looked like Chastain learned his driving skills from Denny Hamlin. Bummer that Poole is out early. So yeah, that's probably the bigger deal. Like Brendan Poole, he's trying to make a name for himself, and he can't do that because he gets taken out early in this race. He was already odds against him because he's not in one of the faster cars. So it definitely sucks for him at the end of the day. What was Fox doing with Bob Pockrass in the bouncy castle? Bob Pockrass was taking him down. He was taking down those little kids. He's a menace in there. They could use him in so many better ways. I don't know. He looked like he was having fun though. Did you catch Rusty's comments at Chastain? You got a steering wheel and pedals. Yeah, I mean, look, it was 100% Chastain's fault. I'm not saying it wasn't. He made a stupid move, but we've seen other drivers make stupid moves. This is a big deal because it's Chastain. Chastain misses the playoffs. Truex is in, says Jay Campbell. I mean, that could be a situation that happens here. Rusty Wallace did a great job in the booth today. I couldn't hear most of it because I was sort of in and out, but I did catch bits and pieces of it. I saw the whole thing, just parts of it I couldn't hear because I was at work. Chastain does not have to race. He can quit and avoid the hate, says Your Cobra. Ross left over with the points lead, says Quiet Cat. Hey, so there you go. Christopher Bell has a bad day. Ross inherits the points lead. Kyle Busch fined 22nd. Kyle Busch finished 22nd, 4 laps down. Yeah. Okay, so at one point he was back like to 1 lap down. So something happened in between. What's up, BB? What's up, T-Van? Glockabus says, can we talk about how cool it is for the brothers Truex to take both races? Really happy for Ryan. He should get a full-time Xfinity ride next year. Hopefully that's what happens. Because unfortunately, I wish that's what we were talking about more. But I knew when that happened, it was going to be Ross Chastain is driving like Ross Chastain again. So I knew that would be it. Eventually, people are going to get tired of talking about that, and they'll just boo him and move on to the next one. But I don't know why all of a sudden we got 4,000 Brendan Poole fans out there. So I don't know. Kyle Larson fans, I understand that because Kyle Larson definitely, which I'm one of, definitely had a car that probably could have won today. So I understand that. Hulu pissed me off today. I had it record the Cup race. Description shows the Cup race. It played Saturday's Xfinity race instead. Oh, that sucks, Race Grub. I hate that. I really like Larson, but man, I'm glad Martin finally got him one. I think a lot of people feel like that. Everybody wanted to see, Martin Truex get another win before he hangs him up. Not saying he's hanging them up this year, but there's a chance he does. So if this is his last year, hopefully he goes out with a win, and he already has. So and if he goes next year, hopefully he gets a win next year because I know a lot of people were bummed out he didn't get a win last year. Ross Chastain is the new Intimidator. By the way, are you mad or happy with Ross Chastain? Yes or no? Mad or happy with Ross Chastain today? That's the poll question if you want to chime in on the poll. Ross Chastain is the new Intimidator. I got the new Dale Sr., but definitely intimidates his competition. He's not Dale Sr., but he definitely intimidates the competition, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I feel like that too. He's living rent-free in their heads. Whether that's fair or not, he's definitely doing it, right? Not saying I agree with the methods or anything like that, but he's definitely living rent-free. T-Van showing his support for the Melon Man. Oh, man, that poll is so damn accurate. Yeah. It's about 50-50 right now. Look, 54% yes right now. So that's basically where it is. That's the most Dale Earnhardt poll I've ever seen in my life. Because back in the day, Dale Earnhardt was 50-50 down the line. And that's exactly the way I see Ross Chastain from a fan perspective, not saying he's as good as Earnhardt. I always got to say that because somebody melts down when I compare them. Just read that one. The NASCAR Cup Series feels like it's become the Ross Chastain show every week, says Napa Racing Fan. Pretty much. That's he's one of the main storylines just about every week. Truex family, Ryan and Dad look identical. Can we call him Junior? Says Duke Chronic. How about that mane of hair on old Ryan Truex, man? That's a fine head of hair that guy's got. Not a Truex fan, but Ryan's Xfinity win and Monday Martin's win were both feel good wins. Yeah, without a doubt. Like this is really cool. Like the only other two families I can remember are the Labanis and the Bushes that have sort of pulled this off like a weekend sweep like this. Yeah, Ross wasn't as bad. At the time, Sadler took out Jimmy Johnson on lap 2 of the Daytona 5. I mean, so yeah, there's always Sonny V with that one. So yeah, there's always somebody you can compare it to. The best part of the broadcast was Rusty saying that his head was growing after watching the video reels of his past triumphs at Dover. I'll tell you the funniest part that I heard was Rusty Wallace saying some guys are really aggressive and wrecking or something. He was talking about Ross Chastain being aggressive and wrecking people, and Mike Joy chimed in and immediately talked about, like, basically alluded to Rusty Wallace wrecked a few people in his career too. In my opinion, was the way I took it, which I thought was pretty funny because Rusty Wallace was another driver that was hyper aggressive, and he didn't mind moving you either. So I thought it was pretty funny that Mike Joy basically called him out saying, you're complaining about Chastain being aggressive, but I remember another guy that was aggressive as well. Chastain is the poo stain of NASCAR, says Rusty Kennedy. So Rusty Kennedy, definitely not a Ross Chastain fan, which is, 50%, 53% right now, I think are with you, depending on how I worded it. But yeah, 50-50 on that one. Mountain Grizzly laughing about what Rusty Kennedy said. Ryan Fussner, let's get over the negative and talk Josh Berry. Yeah, so Josh Berry, I think he had a top 10. Like I said, I didn't look at the actual final rundown to see where everybody finished, but I think Josh Berry finished in the top 10. Just watch the highlights, folks. And this season is a stinker after stinker at marquee tracks. It's getting hard to watch. Just saying, says E. Damon. The race itself wasn't that bad. There was actually plenty of passing. The coverage, for once, Fox actually did a halfway decent job with the camera work. So a slight improvement on the camera work for Fox. Josh Berry to the 21 car next year, says Art NASCAR. Oh, that's the other thing. So on social media, Clint Boyer actually let it slip. Josh Berry is going to go to the 4 car. You can look up Cal Tracer. I don't have the tweets in front of me or anything, but Josh Berry is going to the 4 car. They basically have confirmed it. Bozy Tatarovic has called out Cal Tracer for leaking garage information. So basically, it's pretty much a done deal. Josh Berry is going to the 4 car. They're going to announce it at the Coke 600. According to what they said on Twitter and according to Clint Boyer's slip up, which is what started all that on Twitter. So you can look it up. Look up Cal Tracer, Bozy Tatarovic. You'll see the back and forth. But basically, Josh Berry is going to SHR. Probably the 4 car or maybe the 10, but he's definitely going to SHR. Who's your championship favorite and why is it the 24? Hello, all. Championship favorite, say Kyle, not Cal, will be Kyle Larson until proven otherwise. But yeah, definitely William Byron is off to a great start. And he's being way more consistent this year than last year when he got off to that great start. So yeah, I'm with you. I would probably have to say by the numbers that, yeah, Fast Willie B is definitely going to be in there in that Final Four, no doubt about it. Josh Berry had a good race, said Philip Canavan. Yeah, Josh Berry making the most of his opportunities, and that is what got him landed over there at Stewart Haas Racing. Allegedly, we have to throw that in there, but it looks like Cal Tracer has gone ahead and spilled the beans. He's going to SHR, most likely the 4 car. Josh Berry is definitely on my radar. Dude needs a ride. Mr. H and Gordon, I need to get him in a car for a 5th driver. That would be cherry on top of the cake. It would be cool, but I think because they got 4 cars, they can't run the 5th. They can't do the Trackhouse deal because I think 4 is the maximum cars, whether you got running for points or not. Intimidating. No, he's a wrecking ball with no control over his car, says Whitman 22. Yeah, so that's what I was joking with somebody on social. I said he's the wrecking ball. He's NASCAR's wrecking ball of fate. He will either swing in your driver's favor or he will swing against your driver's favor. But he's the wrecking ball of fate out there. Echo Blue, Mustang and more. We won't win a championship. Too many drivers owe him. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair statement to make too, I think. That's what I'm saying. If he can learn how to pick his spots with that aggressive style, it'll help him to get a better chance to win a championship. Josh Berry is going to the 4 Ford Mustang SHR and replace Harvick, says Napa Racing fan. Yep, that's what I was just talking about. The problem is he still has not learned how to race from the beginning to end, period, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr. And the cool thing about Josh Berry, yeah, he needs to pick his spots. Stephen, that's what I was talking about. Back to Napa Racing fans' point. The cool thing about Josh Berry, basically the information being leaked that he's going to SHR, that is the first domino of silly season. So now we know that silly season is about to take off. We'll see some other guys get locked in. Harrison Burton might have that move right there might have saved Harrison Burton, another year in the 21 car for him to develop and show what he can do. Did anybody notice Elliott and Barry battling for 10th? Yeah, I mean, they were going at it. It looked like a pretty good race. The moments of it you got to see. Duke Chronic, I'm sure Ross would rather have P2 story than say I got to say sorry story, says Duke Chronic. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that think Ross's apologies are just lip service. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. You're going to feel how you're going to feel about him. 56% on the yes side of it right now. If you want to vote on the poll, are you mad at Ross today? 55% saying yeah. He's fluctuating. Mike Joy referred to the Wallace brothers sweeping the Dover weekend in 1994. Mike winning the first Xfinity race and Rusty winning on Sunday. So there you go. That's another brother combo. I'd forgotten about that one, but yeah, for sure. Mike Wallace used to get it done in the old Busch Series, Xfinity Series, as it's called now. Ross, watermelon for brains, says Mark 63. Let's see. Josh is ready to get in a good car like the Four, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, that's where he's going to be at. Rusty called Denny out for crying about Bell not letting him pass. That's pretty funny too. I didn't hear that part, so I don't know exactly what happened there, but that's pretty funny because that's just part of being in a race car. You can pull that audio and make fun of people all day, every day. M43 with that one. Art NASCAR says, my opinion, the Xfinity cars have been putting on a better show than the Cups. Oh yeah, for like 2 years, ever since they introduced 3 years now, ever since they introduced the this next gen car, in my opinion. Ross Chastain's over aggressiveness and carelessness is costing him chances at wins. It's been over a year since his last win, the 2022 Geico 500 at Talladega. I mean, I think that's a fair point. I'm not betting on Joey to reach the Final Four, says Jamie Schweitzer. He's had some bad luck here. That's freaking awesome that Barry is going to the four, says Art NASCAR. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be pumped up about that. Does Busch Beer stick with Barry? Does Busch Beer stick with Barry? He's definitely a Busch guy, says Ryan Fussner. Nope. So this is going to be more good news for the people that don't like Ross Chastain. Busch Beer is going to the one car of Ross Chastain. That's more or less in writing. That's already been leaked too, so I feel fine saying that. Broadcast talked about the Wallace, Mike's, and Rusty's sweep at the track, says Whitman 22. How nervous you think HMS is about Barry bringing Chevy into the fold over Ford or possibly Toyota? I think Ford got a steal here with Josh Berry, and I'm pretty sure Chevy's not going to be happy about it. But I mean, it is what it is. Chevy didn't have anywhere, I guess, to put him immediately. Dale Jr. Junior Motorsports didn't move up in time to get him. That's who was bringing him up, and that's who you imagine would get him. T-Van says, you shave your beard, you got the flow going on. It was windy here today, so I had to put it behind my ears. Usually I do it over the ear, but had to put my hair behind my ears. So it looks like a mullet and a goatee today. Got the Joe Dirte going on today. JRM at the Cup with Barry, says Ryan Fussner. No, that's not. I mean, unfortunately, that's not what happened. According to Couch Racer and Bozy Tatarovic, he's going to the 4 car of SHR. That's already locked down. And I'm going to go for a few more minutes here, and then I got to jump off. I got some stuff going crazy on my phone here I got to take care of. JRM and to that, you think JRM and HMS are keeping him in the dark, knowing he's going out of Chevy? I don't know. I don't know exactly what the deal is there. I think that's just the best plug-in driver that they got for right now. T-Van said shaved. Trimmed up the beard, really. Chastain doesn't have patience with 36 cars and 400 miles. Imagine him with 43 cars and 500 miles at Dover. Yeah, that would be rough for the rest of the field, I guess, unless somebody's gonna stick up for themselves and pay him back. Howdy from M43 videos. Appreciate it. Fist bump, dude. Just saw the super chat there. Howdy from Kazakhstan. You know where I stand. It's fun to watch. I was in Ross's in car. Good for Truex. Glad to watch that. Robin Marks, what's up, man? What's up, Canada? I don't like Ross. I don't hate him. He's just much worse than the best of the next gen bumper car field, says E. Damon. So that's a fair statement. Like this car sort of suits his driving style. Rusty was okay in the booth today. He is a legend, Duke Chronic. Yeah, Rusty did good in the booth from the parts I heard. A lot of people, I guess, had complained that he wasn't good one time before, but he was definitely good today. Denny's sounded super whiny, man. I heard it. It was funny, says Ryan Fussner. I haven't heard that one, so I can't comment on it. Rusty Kennedy, Bologna Burger is awesome. I appreciate it, Rusty. You're awesome too, dude. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Rusty, say Kyle, not Cal. Logano has been like, he got downgraded to the 51 car the last few weeks. What's going on there? Yeah, he's had some bad luck. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying some super aggressive stuff to get ready for the Final Four run or something like that. So you never know if they're trying some experimental stuff because he's already got the win in the bag. For the schedule, I would like to move Sonoma back to spring, return to Dover the week. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I would like to see Dover move because it seems like it always gets rained out, and I think that would help a lot with the fans there because I know some of the people in Dover have already said it's something you always got to factor in when you're going to Dover. Art NASCAR said, thanks for doing the live show. Appreciate you tuning in, Art. You going to the Coca-Cola 600, says Jamie Schweitzer. I don't know. Right now, my schedule's sort of up in the air. So if I can, I'll let you guys know as soon as I know. Ty Dillon doesn't belong in Cup, says Mark 63. Mike George, what's up, dude? Truex probably doesn't want the driver, the Dover race to move since it's run on Monday the past 2 years. 3 out of his 4 Dover wins were the spring race on a Monday, including his first career win, says Napa Racing Fan. So that's a good stat. Appreciate it, Napa Racing Fan. I'm not mad at Ross. Racing incident, says Mike George. Only major Fox error today was jumping back to commercial during the credit one. Yep. So, yep, they actually were doing good today. Unfortunately, it's getting toward the end of their run, so it took them this long to get good again. Rusty's been doing race coverage for MRN. He's been good on there too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He's gotten better. Once you do radio, TV should be easier, in my opinion. Banko ones to watch, says Napa Racing Fan. Happy Truex Jr. won the race. Yeah, I think a lot of people are super shocked. Let's mention who's locked into the playoffs. I don't have it right in front of me, and I can't do it off the top of my head. But I know what is Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Tyler Reddick, drawing a blank, Kyle Busch. That's 6, and I think there's 2 more, so I think there's 7 already locked in. I thought my stream was going crazy. Napa, glad it wasn't just me. Yeah, now that Ross cost my driver, I just like him now, says Escobar. So yeah, that's the way it goes. The more Ross runs over other people's drivers, the more that percentage is going to go down. No, that was a Fox issue. Them cutting out early. Jamie Schweitzer with the super chat, fist bump. Appreciate it, Jamie. All you need to know is the 24 is locked into the playoffs. 24, that's one of the ones I forgot. Kurt Busch, when he was young, like Ross, put out a lot of drivers, says Mark 63. That's a fair statement too. And Jeff Johnson, Josh Berry, another top 10. And unfortunately, guys, I got to cut this one short because I got some stuff going on with my phone. Sorry about that, but I will get some. I'll get some videos up tonight. They'll be posted tomorrow. But yeah, sorry, I got to cut this one short. It was a blast. Always have fun with you guys, and next time we'll run it longer. We'll run it longer tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be another one. But yeah, peace.